Welcome back to the pod. Y'all are just checking in with your two favorite people in Black History Month. We have made it out of the 83 days of January. Ah, it is yours truly, everybody's favorite uncle, Uncle Don Don. Bought here with my virtual half, my good organic brother, Paul, aka.
Mr. Qualified, how y'all doing? All righty. Yes, sir.
The real question is, how are you doing? Because I feel like for all my Wizard of Oz fans, or dare I say the Wiz, given that it's Black History Month, I feel like, Eveline is gone and January has ended and now we can just see a brand new day. Do you feel that way?
I truly do. Like, I don't know what it is. Just honestly, it kind of started yesterday. Yesterday was some really good vibes for me personally. But with this being the first day, it just kind of felt like a shift. Like yesterday went to a black expo, like a black business expo, and then went to Big Daddy's here in Columbia. So I had to go get some soul food and had to go get that taken care of. So it was a very black day to just pregame for Black History Month, basically. But yeah, the vibes are already higher. The energy already feels a little bit lighter. So yeah, feels great. I think from the last couple of conversations we had, like I would say the end of this week, like the last 2 or 3 days leading into February, things picked up. The momentum shifted there. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling all right.
Dare I say I'm feeling hopeful.
That's
January,
new. That's new for you.
as we have, talked on the pod and offline, January did what class? Kicked my ass. Yay. So yeah, I feel yesterday was good vibes for me too. I had like not like I had a work retreat for the business. And we really got some things going. I'm really excited to see where that goes for 2026. Um, and then I joined the book club by way of our good brother Warren. That was supposed to happen at the end of last year. No shade to the group, but we, 2 months later, finally got it off the ground. So that was nice. It was just four of us. We met at restaurant, talked great food, good conversation. I liked the book a lot more after we talked about it because I didn't like it. Um, but it was good vibes because I feel like I was stimulated in a way that I haven't been in a very long time. Just overall with work during that day, running errands, doing a whole bunch of stuff. It felt like me again. So that was good vibes. So yeah, we want the good vibes to continue in February because I mean it has to. We're black.
No, absolutely. Honestly, I feel like you've inspired me. And then I had another conversation with somebody where a book club was mentioned, and I was like, this is a sign. I was like, the sign is for me to join a book club. And if nothing else, just pick up reading for myself, like I've been saying I want to for a while. But yeah, like I got to scratch that itch again. Like I really enjoy reading as a kid, like just reading for fun. I've always enjoyed gaining knowledge as well. So it got lost somewhere in college. It was a lot more things to deal with at the time. Reading wasn't fun no more. But yeah, I think I got all the signs I need to pick it back up. So thank you for that inspiration. And yeah, I'll be with you in spirit soon.
Well, I'm glad that you were inspired to do that. We even inspired our server. She was like, "Yeah, I had a book club too, me and my sister, and that kind of fell off." She's like, "I really want to get back to it." Now, I want to put this disclaimer out there. I love that you are inspired by me, but as somebody who does not find pleasure and enjoyment in reading leisurely, this ain't something that I would just pick up to do. But I was like, you know what? Why not? If you saying yes, I don't enjoy reading. I know how to read, as we call back other episodes. But I don't enjoy reading, and I never enjoyed reading. And then I went to grad school and was like, this is why I hate it. Yeah, we
Yeah.
read every day, all day, and then write about what we read, and then read what we write for somebody else to write about what we read. What? Yeah,
Yeah.
it was article after article after article after article. But academic reading, it makes sense. But to just like fall into the world of fiction. I'm like, why is there crap in the story? And where did you find this? Like, I'm okay.
No, that's real. It's not for everybody and it's not for the weak. Some are just gifted enough to be able to lock into it when necessary. And I feel like that's where you fall. So there it is.
It happened. I like to keep life jazzy in other ways. Which leads me to my question for you. Because we are in Black History Month and, leaning on what Issa Rae said, we rooting for everybody black. Just hypothetically, I am curious if you could have a dream guest, that have to be a celebrity or somebody, well known, a dream guest or a third co-host in the black celebrity sphere, who would be your pick?
That's a good question. I I feel like I would look at guests and co-hosts a little differently.
Either
Nat-
one is
yeah,
fine.
naturally, my brain would be wired to see it a little differently. I think I think for us, like for this podcast, I feel like Kev on stage would be an amazing co-host. I feel
Okay.
like he'd be an amazing third co-host. Him or ironically, Terrell. I think either of them two would be like they was here the entire time, honestly.
Okay.
Those are the first two that come to mind. I'm sure there would be more, but yeah, I've been locked into a lot of Kev on stage content lately, so it's no surprise he was the first to come to mind. But I thought of him and his episode with Terrell, and I was like, well, Terrell would make a lot of sense too. So yeah,
Okay. I didn't, I never thought about Terrell. And I'm a Terrell Grice fan, but Kev on stage, I could definitely get behind. I think that would be welcome to energy.
for sure, absolutely. No, it would be a time. We would have a blast. We would,
Yeah. Mine would be, and I feel like this would be also a seamless addition as a third celebrity co-host.
yeah.
It would be the one, the only, the one who stays with a job, Miss Kiki Palmer.
I did
Okay.
think about her. I did think about her. Kiki with Kiki
Oh,
with her.
what?
She was like right on in.
Just absolutely perfect to have a Kiki Palmer. First of all, she really does stay with the job. Like the W-2 is W-2ing. Okay. I support all of Kiki Palmer and everything. But just to have, with your girl energy on here, like Kiki Palmer would be, she would be my pick. She's silly, she's serious, she's relatable. I feel like we already know her. She already got the Chicago vote, Chicago land vote, but
That's real. Now that makes Kiki was the first woman that came to mind
mhm.
because there's a part of me that goes directly to people who I've seen in media or like do content in this capacity. It doesn't mean that other celebrities may not seamlessly, be able to slide into like a co-host role as well. But yeah, those three, I think it'd be a time for sure. Either one of those three, it'd be a good old time. Oh, well, nah, I shouldn't say that. That's a reach. I was gonna say I started thinking about Terrell and then Coco came to mind because I know that they had a show together, Coco Jones to be specific. And she probably would be great, my Capricorn sister. But that's a bit of a reach. I wouldn't put her in the same category per se as the other three.
I would say great person, wrong podcast. She would be great for your other podcast.
That's fair.
Right quality.
That's fair. That makes sense.
She also played basketball. Um,
Then she
so
got the man. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like she would be a surprise addition to that. And I would love to see the interactions between all of y'all with Coco.
Yeah, that would be. Got to keep Miguel. Got to keep Miguel under wraps. Put him in
He
some.
bring him back, okay? We need to
Honestly,
run it back.
Miguel needs to come back just to be Miguel. But that would be a good addition to that pod. That would be yeah, like you said, very surprised, very interesting for sure, for sure. Yeah.
So
Uh,
Kiki, if you're listening, we know that you probably are not, but if we could get you and Kev on stage, just for
look,
a sliver of a second.
flip of time, just a taint of your time,
You know, could even do a little cameo for us and we would put it on here. That's fine.
It ain't gotta be a whole episode. It could be a segment. You know,
Right.
that's cool. Well, Kiki be saying, "It's your boys, Kiki. It's your boys. We good. We ready with you." um, but no, actually, as we are now officially in Black History Month, I know we kind of touched on it at the end of last episode, but something that happened at the end of this week, uh, just felt fitting in terms of Black History Month because I think something I mentioned last episode was just kind of being grateful for like the creativity that we tend to just expound on for this month. But just kind of focusing on gratefulness in general. As we talked about, 83 days of January, month felt slow as hell, right? But there were two instances last week, and this was at work where um my connection and relationship with students was brought up in a positive light to somebody else, like in the department. And so that just knowing that, having that impact and students being able to speak to their working with me in a positive way, I mean, is great, and I'm glad to hear it, given what I'm doing and what I'm supposed to be doing in my role. But just kind of appreciate you. But just kind of having that affirmation is something to be grateful for because we can get caught up in the 83 days and the whole rat race and feeling like we just in this cycle and we still doing, what we supposed to do, what we set out to do, doing our job every day. But sometimes it can be forgotten or lost on that you are still having that impact even when you feel like you just in the mundane of it all. And I feel like for Black people specifically, it's very important that we have those reminders. So that was just something I wanted to add. And I don't know if you got any, grateful, points or just any other high notes from your week, but that was something that came to mind as I was thinking about gratefulness.
Shout out to you because oftentimes like working with students in any capacity tends to be a thankless job. You feel appreciated on the back end, but never like while things are going on. So for somebody to shout that out, like that's what's up. Like that's something to put on your like shelf of celebratory moments. I would definitely do that. Ironically, I had the same, well, a similar experience, not necessarily with students, but like in terms of just gratitude. And gratefulness, I was driving yesterday in between all of my, excursions, and I was on Lakeshore Drive, and I was just talking to God. Like I don't know what song was playing in the background. I think it might have been, what was that, Kanye West and Carrie Hilson? It has nothing to do with
I swore you was
conversation.
about to say a gospel song. I just knew you
No,
were about to say a
no,
gospel
it
song.
was not. That my brain is always all over the place. So it was like,
Are you talking about
what song was that they had
that?
together? Um,
It
well,
has to knock you down.
sure, let's go with that one. Yep. Yeah. That was it. It was Knock You Down. And that song did not trigger my conversation with God. It just happened to be on, and I was just like, I was on Lakeshore Drive. I was like, God, you did your big one by just giving me life. Like I have breath in my body and air in my lungs. Like I can experience the world. And I was really just like talking out loud. And some people, have their own individual time with their higher power or whatever. And I used to feel as a kid like you had to have like this job interview conversation with God. Like it's got to be all buttoned up and stuff like that. But I was like, yo, you really did your big one with this. Like I have lungs and air and like sight, and I can experience the world. And you just put these out like for me to experience. And every day you give me the opportunity to do that. And it felt good. Also, like I said, I was on Lakeshore Drive, so I got to see Chicago, like, and I was just like, wow, I was driving all over the city yesterday. So like to experience all of that kind of at one time, I was like, that's what's up. I'm grateful.
So, random question. I know people rave about summertime shy, right? And
hmm
rightfully so. But I would imagine that isn't wintertime shy outside of obviously the frigid conditions when it gets to wilding out. Isn't wintertime shy probably equally as beautiful, depending on how you want to, look at things? Just because the scenery is still there. And if you like the winter vibes, it's just a winter wonderland.
That's the thing with Chicago. And I say this one as a Chicago native, two as a Chicago native that grew up in the 90s when we still had real winters. And then also three as somebody who spent 13 years in Missouri, like to have another perspective. But Chicago is the city for you if you like to do things year round. Sometimes it's hot and you can take some clothes off and be outside. Sometimes it's cold and you need to dress up like a snowman. But you have something to do all year long. Like if you were in Chicago and you say, "Oh, I didn't like it. It wasn't anything to do," you're weird. I mean, I hate to say that, but you are weird because Chicago is the city for everybody at all times of year. Like you can find something to do. Like, we might not have the patio weather because it's cold as hell now, but they throw out a little propane tank and you can sit within reason outside. Or we have like winter themed bars. We've got ice skating. They turned the like pickleball courts into stuff like little winter pop-ups. Like if you don't mind a little scarf and mitten moment, hey, this where you should be. You can't be on the lake, but
Right. No, I agree. I know way too many people from Chicago, but I've also visited enough, and it's very close to Milwaukee, so it's not like I didn't experience Chicago beforehand anyway. But yeah, I agree. Chicago is definitely one of them cities. And yeah, I don't know if I've ever met somebody who has lived in Chicago or been to Chicago and has ever said, yeah, there was nothing to do. I just never heard it. Just wouldn't make sense whatsoever. Um, but but yeah, shout out to y'all, man. As always, I have no complaints.
well, I do. It's the weather.
You can't help. I mean, I guess I'm Midwest coded, so the weather just feels like a badge of honor to me at this point. I don't think other regions are built like us, and I take pride in that.
If we talking about being grateful, the snow, that's a weather condition I can take. Everywhere else, there are other beautiful places in the country, right? But now you looking at earthquakes. What? My house is gonna shake and fall apart? You looking at tornadoes. It's windy where I'm just, being Wizard of Oz next. Like I'm not going through that. Then worse, we talking about flooding. It's what hurricanes and tsunamis or whatever that causing flooding. So now my whole life is literally washed away. All I got to do was put on three pairs of socks and a scarf and look at the snowfall. I don't really have to leave. Like, okay, cool. What? We've never frozen over like that. Well, it does get cold, but like Texas. They
Oh,
don't know what's going on, so they get a little bit of ice and they're like, "Oh my God, it's a freezer in here." Like I wouldn't want to have to deal with that. They have the opposite experience when it comes to water. They might get all of the flooding, but then it'll freeze in the wintertime. Chicago, we got just enough of everything to be good. And I'm in the city. I'm not in the suburbs out in farmland where I got experienced tornadoes. So give me the snow.
no, truly. I was gonna say you named every other kind of like, natural disaster that is possible in these different regions. And I'm like, yeah, give me a blizzard, dog. I'll take the blizzard for 200, Alex. I promise you. It ain't it
100%.
ain't gonna make me no never mind. That does bring me to a point. Does bring me to a point. They really are acting different in 2026. And I still think this generation doesn't fully understand like what a real blizzard is, what a real snowstorm, winter storm is. Like eh, they nice to y'all, letting y'all off. Okay, I'm gonna tell you, you know how bad things had to get for us to get a day off of school in middle school, high school. I feel like I can say back in the day now. God damn, you can't tell me otherwise. Back in the day, okay, it's over 15 years ago, right? That I'm dealing with this. Don't make no sense how much it took for them to just give us the day off. Like you said, three pairs of socks, your snowman suit, and we going to school and we still got to do our reading, writing, arithmetic because they goddamn. Meanwhile, y'all get to get off and just do your lessons on your tablet and carrying on. Y'all ain't been through nothing. I get why the OGs used to say that now.
And I hate that I'm at I'm not even gonna say age, but just stage of life where I say back in my day.
You know?
Literally, back in my day, we didn't have snow days. There was a day and it snowed. A snow day was a foreign concept. My first legitimate snow day, I'm not gonna hold you. I think we might have had one growing up at elementary school, grammar school, um, where it was like just too cold on some like public safety thing. But other than that, that's the only time I can remember. I didn't have a legit snow day until Snowmageddon at Mizzou, and the only thing that was open was like two dining halls. And then I was like, "Oh, this is fun. We're just gonna go play in the snow." And then I started working in St. Louis Public Schools after that, and we had a snow day for a week coming off of winter break. And I didn't live that far from the school, and for whatever reason, I wasn't in the like emergency response list. So when they were sending out notices about schools being canceled, I didn't get that. So I'm driving to work, my little 7 minutes. I'm like, why the hell ain't nobody here? I was texting one of my friends that worked there. I'm like, where's everybody? She was like, Donald, school's canceled today and tomorrow. I was like, oh, okay. So I went back like Wednesday, still canceled. Ended up being canceled all week. And I was like, what? Y'all are soft in Missouri. Like, I'm not gonna hold you, okay? We was trucking along. Like, so back in my day, we had real snow.
Yeah, yeah. So it's interesting to see, and it's just funny to look back and just see how different things are now. I do have a question for you that I think is gonna get a good chuckle out of you.
Mm.
Disclaimer: we are all allies here. Um, if a gay person says something straight, do they have to say pause?
I was like, where the hell is this going? Um, you know what? Just to mess with people, they should. They should because it's asinine to think that we even say pause because whatever. But where the hell did you get this question from?
It was on Instagram.
Oh, okay. I'm like, you done pulled this one out of somewhere.
It was just like one of those streamers who I guess somebody might have asked that question like in the stream chat or whatever. But it just it just threw me off because it was like one, that's one of those questions where it's like, who thinks of that and who asks that? But then two, it does speak to the larger like pause culture because like it is terrible. You cannot say anything nowadays without people just homophobia like is a thing. Don't get me wrong. But what they got going on in like 2025, 2026 is something way deeper than homophobia. I don't know what this is. You can't say anything to these people.
Yeah, you know what? And this is very random, like pivot to the conversation. You know what? I hate it now seeing, the videos that come out to be like, oh, would you be gay for a day if, somebody offered you like $2 million or something like that? Um, and then they be like, oh, no, no, no. And then it goes to the next screen and it's these dudes dressed up in like wigs and heels and grab purses and like, oh yeah, we about to go out. I hate that because especially in the black community, Black History Month, hello. Why is it that we equate gay if we talking male to male? Why would we equate gay with cross-dressing? That ain't the same thing.
I don't know why. And I also like to that point, I feel like gay or like, really at this point, anything in that community is just seen as like the most expressive or the most maybe like exaggerative like variation of it or not variation. I don't know if that's the right word, but like form of it. Um,
Mhm.
and I mean it's toxic masculinity, it's the idea of hyper masculinity, all of those things. And I feel like I don't want to say this is down to how you were raised, but I feel like it's only two paths. Like you either are open enough to understand that like it exists and it don't have to include you, or it can include you in whatever way you want it to, or you was just raised to think that it's like a crime, basically. Like like one or two ways. Like there's no in between. So why? I don't know. Has there been progress? yes, generally speaking, but it's still very much prevalent the way it's rooted for some. Very
Yeah. Like I'm all for a little comedy bit, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we can't like joke around and ha ha or whatever, but I've seen so many of these videos now and I'm thinking like, just because somebody grabs a purse, that doesn't make them gay, right? Like your physical appearance is not where sexuality draws the line.
yeah.
Because I mean, I know several examples. Okay, I know some real buff dudes, some hyper masculine dudes that, spoiler alert, also like dudes, right? So
Yeah.
that doesn't make any sense. But in terms of people saying pause, it reminds me also of the video. It's uh these are white content creators. I don't know their names. I can't give them the credit. I apologize. But they have these series of videos where they're like talking to their child and their child comes out as straight. And like they go on this whole like rampage of like, oh my God, what? You telling me you won't listen to Celine Dion with us anymore? Like all these like random like stereotypes, right? But it's this idea that, the expectation is that if you were straight and say something quote unquote gay, you say pause. If you are assumed to be straight and then quote unquote come out as gay or somewhere in the queer community, like it's this announcement. But how come people don't come out as straight? Where is that announcement?
That is an interesting concept, and I also think it just, boils down to what people kind of expect to be. And so like if it's deemed normal, then there's no need to announce or come out. But to the point of like you also don't need to announce or technically, come out for being hey either because it's not for everybody else. And we don't need no disclaimer. You know what I'm saying? Like we shouldn't need one. So I think that's the point you
Yeah.
get. But yeah, and I will say though, that's one thing that I'm very thankful for, not only how I was raised, but also like just grateful for my experiences. Um, the people that I met, not only in high school, but really in college, like meeting people that were, yes, I'm open-minded, but also people that were kind of like willing to educate and like just willing to also be patient with some of my like natural like ignorance to things. Um, and be willing to like help me grow as a person in that regard. I'm just thankful that that's been my experience. So that's like it's not something I feel like I have to, like I'm naturally mindful of it. So I don't have to like go out my way to be like, oh, let me remember in these settings, I need to do this, or like I need to code switch when I'm around, when I'm around like different people. So, cause I know that is a thing for some, like some people really have to like prepare themselves, like to be, in different environments. And everybody, got their own walk. So I ain't saying there may not be reasons or what have you, but yeah, I happy I turned out the way I did.
Yeah. I think we need to normalize people living their own lives. Like if you are not causing harm to somebody else or yourself, what you do with your life does not matter to me. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be. But I feel like we are so consumed with how other people live and what other people do that we make them like have to live the way that we do or think the way that we do. I don't give a shit. Like I really don't. So like
Oh,
it should be that way. Life should be organic. See what I did there?
I do see.
But yeah, no, like I don't know. I was even talking to Alice yesterday. And she was like, I think it's so bizarre that people go out of their way to be around people they don't like. Just like she used the example of that like attack on was Senator Omar from like Minneapolis. There was a dude that went to their conferences like sprayed her with some whatever that was. If you've seen the clip, it also looked like she was getting ready to put hands on him, and I fully support that energy. Just like, talk shit, get hit kind of thing. But she is a public figure. I do understand that. But anyway, like, if this person did not like her for whatever reason, and I'm saying that this is a sexuality conversation, but just for whatever reason, why go out of your way to then travel to go somewhere for somebody that you don't like to then just go attack them? Like, just live your life separate of it. So what you do that is not causing harm to somebody else really should just be in their own bubble. But we're just so hyper fixated in other people's lives that we have to say pause because it's like, oh, this is crossing the line because now I'm using quote unquote, whatever lingo and stuff like that. So I don't know. People need to, we talked about touching grass. People just need to go and just like live their own life.
Very true. And very layered in that way. I like how you brought it full circle with the pause moment because it does all apply. But I do feel like that's a great ending point that also gives us a jumping point for next episode because it didn't fit in this one, but I feel like everything we were talking about in terms of just like how we even are fixated with, each other's lives and carrying on. Yes, that is a human thing, that is a people thing, but I think there is a particular aesthetic to that in the Black community. And I think that there's an aspect of that that plays a role in that Black excellence being steeped in classism conversation. Because for us to have been through everything that we've been through, we are extremely classist as a people. Um, but that's a whole nother rabbit hole to go down and suitcase to unpack. So we'll do that next episode for y'all. But takeaways from this episode before we get on out of here, before we check out.
Um, be you, be black, be grateful.
Yeah, be happy it's February. Be happy that January is over. Definitely be grateful. Feel like that's worth being seconded verbally. Um, and yeah, I had to second be black too. And whatever way that looks like for you, just don't do it as a racist. But yeah, until until next episode, we'll catch y'all next time. Peace.